Does your brake squeak? If so, your brake pads might be wore. Brake calipers push your pads against your wheel to make you slow down. All the newer vehicles these days have brake calipers, which push your pads against the wheel. I have replaced a lot of them over the past 5 years, which makes me some sort of expert on replacing brake calipers. Now I'm going to show you how to replace your pads. It is very easy and cheap. If you bring it to Sioux Falls, you're likely going to have to pay $50 for new brakes. Where if you did at home, it'll probably cost you $20. The materials you're most likely to need are wrenches, paper towels, brake cleaner, and a flat screwdriver. You will need all these materials to replace your brake calipers. I am now going to show you where your brake calipers are. They are behind your tire. This is your brake caliper, which holds these two brake pads so that it can push against this plate. When the caliper has brake fluid applied to it, it pushes the brake pads together, which makes you unable to spin your tire. Now, I'm going to show you how to take your caliper off. What you will need is a small wrench to take this nut off, or this bolt off, which also, there's another one like this on the bottom side down here. Once you have these two bolts off, you're able to take this caliper off so you're able to work on it. I'm now going to take it off so you can see what it looks like without the caliper. Now these bolts on this caliper, they're odd. They don't go lefty-loosey. They go righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. It is very weird. So you're going to have to apply some pressure and loosen it. Now, once you have these out, you can take your caliper off. Now that I have these bolts out, next thing we do is take this bolt off. This holds your brake line, which this line supplies your caliper with the brake fluid. When you have that bolt loose, make sure you don't lose the washers that are on there. There's two of them, like there's one right here that keeps it so it doesn't leak out the gap between the bolt and this square thing on this hose so the fluid doesn't leak out. Now you are able to take this caliper off. It should just slide off like that. On this caliper, there's a piston right here that is in this housing that will push this pad out, and it'll push it up against the plate that goes in here, which these pads will make that plate that spins here slow down. Now I'm going to show you how to take these pads off, because they wear down on this piece here. Now this one that is connected to the piston should just easily pop off like that. Now this one is kind of tricky. It has these two little clips here, which this is where your flat screwdriver comes in. We'll slide up in here, and you have to pop it off and kind of shove, which there's two of them, so you pop off and push forward. Now, once you did that, you have no use for the screwdriver again. Now you're just going to have to pull up and it comes right off. Now you can kind of see that piston that's in here. This slides out and pushes it forward. Pushes this pad against the other pad, which will slow down your tire. Now, if your piston is stuck, there is a hole right here you could just take an air compressor and an air gun, and you just put it on there, and you just pull the trigger, which will shoot this piston out this way. And then you have these two pieces here, which will stop it from like flying off. So once you have this piston out, you should take a towel and brake cleaner and clean it up and clean that area inside where that piston is, and then you can just put that piston back in. Where mine isn't stuck, so I won't be showing you. It is a real pain in the butt because there is a rubber sleeve that goes around the piston to keep it from the oil or the brake fluid that's in here from coming out when you push on your brakes. Now, what I'll show you is you grab your new brake pads like these, and what you do is you just put them on exactly how you took them off. You just slide them on, make sure you're lined up, and just push down. They should just pop in these little holes here so they don't fly off. Now this one, it's kind of the same way. You just put your pad in there, and then you just squeeze. It should pop back in. Now you have successfully replaced your brake pads. Now what you should do is clean the pads up, because your finger grease or the oils that are on your finger can smudge this pad up, which then when it pushes against your tire, that will make it wear even worse. So now this next part, I'm going to clean it, and I'm going to be wearing gloves so I don't put my oily fingers on there. Now I have cleaned it with your brake cleaner and towels. Now it's time to put it back on. You want to make sure you have all the parts. So like these are the bolts that you need. They will just slide on. But you don't want to have it so it's too close to the pad. You want to have it pulled back a little bit so it's just sticking out of there. That way you don't have to monkey around when you put it back on to try finding your parts. Now it's time to put it back on. So what you do is you just slide it on. You want to make sure you have your tools with you. So what you do is you make sure, there we go. Well, make sure those bolts line up with the hole down in there. And what you want to do is you want to finger start it, so that way you don't cross thread it. Same with the other side. Now that you have successfully tightened these bolts, the next part would be is putting your brake line back on. I'll come back after I have that on. And make sure you did not lose these washers that are on the brake line. Now that once you have that brake line put on over here, you have successfully redid your brakes. So in conclusion, you took the caliper off, redid the pads, and put the caliper back on. It's easy. And always make sure you have good brakes wherever you go. It is always a good thing to check them before you leave on a long trip.